Here I am. Sorry. I didn't think he was gonna. Here I am. Sorry. I didn't. I am so sorry. I'm late, gentlemen.
You black. That's okay.
Hey, I was working.
I mean,
Hey, where's Alex? Where's Mike's face? What's going on?
I am right here. Can you hear me?
Yes, and where's Monroe? Martin. All right. Yes, I don't see your face, Alex. Where you at?
Hold on. Let me see. Okay, here it is. Start video.
Hey, I was
There we
interview-
go.
I was interviewing the owner and the booker of the Comedy Cellar.
Really?
Yeah, and
Oh wow.
at first I'm like, I'm not gonna. I'm like, I hope I have enough questions. And next thing you know, we're debating about comedian rapists. This shit got real.
Wow. So you guys talked about Vince Champ for about an hour?
Oh my god,
I don't know if y'all know the Vince Champ story here.
I do.
I don't.
Mike, you don't know about it? Alex, tell him.
Yeah,
Come
no,
on.
I'm very familiar with it. Right.
Oh, okay.
I was about to use the wrong word. I was about to say I was hands-on with the dude, but not hands-on. Do you really want me to tell you the story?
No, I know. I don't know. I haven't heard it in a while. I know his name's on the wall of the Comedy Magic Club, and every time I see it, I'm like, reminder. Thanks, guys.
That dude was on a serial rape tour, like not even trying to be funny. And the only reason I really knew about the dude is because in 2009, I ended up winning College Comic of the Year, and I did 121 colleges that year, and there had only been Dave Chappelle that year did like 91, but Vince Champ did like 200 colleges. So he was truly like the king of black comics that do colleges all over the country.
And he was clean.
And he was the nigga wouldn't even say ass. He would say rump and tush. Like he wouldn't even use the word booty. He was the cleanest comic ever. But apparently, every single one of them colleges that he hit, yeah, he put hands on them folks, and it came back to bite him in the ass. And it turns out he was doing some crazy shit. And we used to be like, is it because he's so clean on stage? When he says good night, it's time to get nasty and do some crazy shit.
Well, he's the Cosby of.
Exactly. And they used to tell you in your contract, when you do these colleges, you cannot mess with any of the students. And at that time, like I was already older, like way older than it'd be different if I was in my 20s doing colleges. I probably would have had a problem with that too, because I'd have been close in age with the girls. But when I did the colleges in 91, I'm way older than this, because that was the last thing I'm thinking about. But it was the first thing on his plate.
Was he really Christian? Wasn't he really Christian?
Dude,
Didn't he do like Christian
he was
comedy?
the cleanest. Like when I would see him do shows, like when he would every once in a while when he would be in town, or like in LA in the Improv or Comedy Magic Club or Comedy Store. You know, most comics say good night when you finish. You'd be like, good night and God bless. Like this dude was like an angel.
I've only heard the legend. That's just the legend. I've never seen him. I don't even know him. I didn't even know he's a black dude until just now. So
really?
Yeah, this is news.
But he's one of those dudes, just so you know, like only because you brought it up, he's one of those type of black dudes that only mess with white girls. Like
they're always the problem for me, those dudes. I always tell I keep telling these dudes. But that's
like the last thing on the planet he would do was mess with a black. He was like Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but not that white, but that kind of, just super safe and clean, and white people loved him. And dude,
are you saying that if we saw his serial rap sheet, it would look like Tigers when all the
pretty
photos
much,
came up?
pretty much, pretty much. He was so white.
Smears.
He was the type of nigga that would tie a sweater around his shoulders.
He was raping everybody at the country club.
Pretty Jackie, exactly.
Hey man,
Exactly.
This is not funny right now to several people who attended those colleges.
Yeah.
I was just telling the true story of what I heard though. But
I got my degree, but it is tainted as fuck.
How you doing, Mike? How you doing, Justin?
Yo, man, how are you guys,
good,
man?
Y'all know each other? We all know each other? What's up? I know
Alex from the store. Mike, I think I've seen you a couple times. I think we might have bumped into each other.
Right.
How long you been doing comedy now, Mike?
Woo! Hey man, we talking about 18 right now.
And you look like you're 21. That's what's annoying.
Nigga, he looks 16. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You look young as hell.
Hey man, I'm doing something right. I might spill the secrets.
All right, while we wait for Monroe, let me intro you. And just so you guys know, my intros for all the episodes I've done so far have been trash because I don't want it to be like a comedy show, like, hey, coming to the stage. So I'll start off with Mike. I met him at the Comedy and Magic Club, and that's all I got. I know he has a special on Amazon right now.
I do. Yeah.
Currently, and what's it called?
Stepman,
and that comes from your material because you are raising a stepman. Is that correct?
Yeah. My wife's older, and me and my stepson, we like the same age, so I call him Stepman.
Are you serious? Please tell me you're joking.
My wife's older, man. I can't really.
No, not that part. I understand that, but for the fact that he's close, like you and your stepson share blunts.
Absolutely.
You come home from work and your stepson is sitting in your chair. You're like, nigga, I am the man of the house. No, I am.
Hey man, that's all day, man. He walk around with no shirt because he got chest hair and I don't. Like it's all day with us. Man. All day, yeah.
I know there's stories in that, bro.
You guys can never get in a real fight because it'll be a real ass fight. Like
that's what happened. That happened early days. She wanted me to discipline. You know, I know what she talking about. She talking about physically, and you know, I'm thinking like, fuck, what if I lose?
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Wait. How old is he?
He's almost 30 now.
Wait a second. So when he says, look, nigga, you like, no, look, daddy.
No.
Nigga, no, look, daddy. Okay. Now, what were you saying?
And okay, our next comedian, a very good friend of mine, newish friend. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I met him, we had booked a commercial together, and when I saw that he was my co-star in the commercial, I was like, that's the guy that's in every single commercial that's ever been shot in the history of black and white TV to color TV. And he's currently in what is it? Is it Progressive? What's the one with a guy in the horse outfit?
Why does everybody say horse? It's a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, the dude where he's the bottom half of his body.
And he's on the treadmill.
A motorcycle. And he's on the treadmill. Yeah, that's funny.
And Justin does Justin does the Karen going to get the manager walk off.
I do.
When you said a horse, I was thinking about the dude in the Old Spice commercials. You know,
right?
I do this, then I do that. I do this, then I do that.
And you were also on Dave on FX, Justin. Say some words.
I'm listening to you. Words.
What the one and only season that just passed? What were you on? What was your role? I didn't watch the show yet.
I was playing a record executive, and Dave Bird, who is actually really funny, and he did a lot of the writing. He's trying to sell his pitch, and I just have to sit there and look at him like this guy is fucking out of his mind. Yeah. And I hope I get back into season 2 because that would just be the jam. Jeff Schaefer is the director. I did one, but they also put me in their Emmy trailer, their Emmy nominated trailer. So like in 2 of them, 2 separate ones. So I'm like, maybe they'll bring me back. I don't know.
You got the look.
You've got the look.
Are you in New York also, Justin?
No, I'm in LA.
Oh, okay. And Mike, where you at?
LA,
okay.
All you guys, Justin is a Comedy Store veteran.
Yes.
His name's been on the wall since they painted it for the first time.
I know, right?
Monroe, I want to save Alex for last. Monroe, okay, give it
What's
up.
Monroe?
What's up, Monroe? He's in New York.
Y'all professional. Hold on.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna set up this whole apparatus since y'all doing this shit.
What are you about to do? Put up shelves real quick? Or you?
Look, About to set it up. Everybody got fucking muff mics and shit.
He said
Yeah.
muff mics.
I don't have
even know what
anything.
it
It's
is.
just me and my computer screen. Why are you being extra?
That's funny.
I've only got sconces, so.
Ooh.
Alex has the whole
right.
WKRP in Cincinnati set up. You remember
Well, you
that?
know,
I know.
well, I got a podcast, so my shit is just always set up, ready to go. You know what I mean?
You
So,
said
You
he
didn't
got
get
the
the
Tim
reference,
Reed.
Alex. You old like me. WKRP in Cincinnati. You gotta
come on,
acknowledge.
man. Tim Reed, one of the funny.
Okay.
His name is also on the wall at the Comedy Store. A lot of people don't know Tim Reed was one of Richard Pryor's best friends, one of David Letterman's best friends, one of he's a triple OG in the game. You know, like when you were a kid, you didn't realize a lot of the sitcoms before we all got into stand up.
Mhm.
You know, you didn't realize those sitcoms you were watching, those dudes were all stand ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now people,
I didn't
find
realize
out
that
now.
till I got in the game. You know
People
what I mean?
find out now. They hear now that so and so, like they hear like Michael Keaton, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "You guys don't even know
Right,
how
right.
many people you're in love with." They
Exactly.
struggled long before they
Tom
got
Hanks, bosom buddies. Like people don't realize the journey that people had before they got to where they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey man,
Michael
I watched Dead
Keaton.
Presidents the other day, and there's a scene when Lorenz Tate is coming back from I think war, and there's a comedian there. Man, what's the dude? He's from Def Jam. He
Chris
was
Tucker.
No.
No, I know you're
Because
talking
wasn't
about.
Chris in that movie?
Yeah, Chris was the main character, but there was
Yeah,
another
yeah.
Man, it was another
Yeah.
dude that I never knew was a comedian in that. And then
Oh,
I watched all these old
okay.
Def Jams, and I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, let me intro our next comedian on the lineup here. I became a fan of his. I started following him on social media as soon as he hit Last Comic Standing, and I've been a fan of his for years. He ain't follow me on shit. Don't know who I am. When I
Yo,
met
what are you
him,
talking about,
when I
Jackie?
met him in New York, I was like, dude,
It's here.
I've been a fan of yours since the day you started. And you're like, really? And I was like, do you not know? You know you were on TV, right? We all saw you. So I met this guy through Last Comic Standing, and now he is a fellow comic and colleague in New York. Give it up for Monroe Martin. What's up, baby? How
Monroe
you doing?
Martin.
What's going on?
Bro.
Thank you.
How you doing, Monroe?
How far did you
I'm
get on
well,
the
how
show?
y'all?
Finals?
Yeah, the finals. I was eliminated at like 7, which was good because it started to get weird after that.
What? How? Weird how?
People started really like getting in arguments and wanting to like fight each other. Like Carlos wanted to beat Lachlan up. You know,
Really?
Patterson.
Lachlan
Patterson.
Yeah, and I'm
Lachlan
like, all
Patterson.
right. Yeah, and I'm like, all right, this is just jokes. This shit.
Why do you want to fight Lachlan? Who want to fight
Because
Lachlan?
they kept like beefing with each other. There was like
It's a lot of money on the line too.
Yeah, there was money on the
know?
line, and
Yeah.
then they made us do that I'm funnier than shit.
Oh, I hate that shit.
And then
And they
people were
wanted to
taking
fight.
it serious. Yeah. And me and Ida, we got tight around that time because we were just like, look, we're just here for the TV credit.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And you know, Lachlan can't fight to save his life.
He don't
I mean,
need
well,
to. He has
like-
beautiful hair. He's
Like
funny.
if
He's
he
not a
had
fighter.
to, he kind of reminds me of like those yoga people that freak out.
Yeah.
You know, like a wicked rabbit, just like. "Ah!"
But he's Canadian, and Canadians have anger.
Deep down, pent up, like an
Yeah.
ulcer, deep down inside.
Right.
Our next
And don't
comedian.
let them get a little liquid courage in them. Yeah, that take it to
You
the
know,
next level.
we know how
Stabbing
to
everybody.
knuckle up. We know how
Yeah.
to knuckle up.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're a Canadian.
I
Okay,
forgot
dope.
Justin is
I'm
not real.
Canadian.
He's from
What
Canada.
part of Canada?
Montreal.
Montreal. Okay.
No, just Montreal. Not Montreal. I used to have the
Accent,
same
not the French
conversation
accent.
with Jackie about to say that she goes Montreal.
Don't do that.
No
You're
one's
like,
ever
stop
said
doing
that
that. That's
again.
horrible. Our next comedian, his credits go back. I think weren't you in Cooley High, Alex? You've been.
Wow, you just made me sound like I was 97. You might as well have been like, all right, this next comedian coming to this stage did 2 episodes of The Jeffersons. He was the baby in Roots, and Bobby's one black friend on the Brady Bunch. Like, damn.
That's how long I've seen you on my TV screen.
Wow.
You've been around
Wow.
that long, and you've done things that nobody knows about that was not on camera. And you
Yeah.
talked about it. About where was it? I forget where I saw it, but we were like, this nigga really has not been working. This is why his wife is pregnant every 6 months.
You know what it was, Jackie? You know what it was with me?
What?
I was just one of those dudes that was like, look, I don't ever want to have a regular job. So however I can get paid in the millions of different ways you can get paid in this business, I was like, I'm gonna do something I love to do. So at an early stage in the business, I realized, okay, you can get rich being a writer. Okay, you can get rich doing cartoons. Okay, you don't have to be in front of the camera. Okay, you can make $1 million a year being a stand-up. I was like, you know what? Sign me up. I'm doing it all. So that's how it went from being a writer on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for 4 years, 93 to 97. I was on
Family
Guy.
I seen that interview. You got that like 9 months into doing comedy.
Yes.
The Fresh Prince thing. I seen that interview. I was like,
damn.
Thank you, man.
Who was that with? Was that with Ian?
Say it again.
Was that with
That was
Ian?
with Dean, Dean Edwards.
Oh, Dean Edwards.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the interview.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's with Dean Edwards.
Yes, exactly. I'm just that epitome of kind of like being in the right place at the right time, and I always understood relationships. I never claimed to be the funniest guy or I did the most movies. Like, no, man, I knew people and they liked me, and I was in the right place at the right time. You know what I mean? Yes, I still had to go read for the Jamie Foxx show, but I knew him. And from doing stand-up and being in the same rooms and him seeing me on stage, be like, I like this young dude. Oh, wow. And he can act. Like, all right. Next thing you know, I'm on a major TV show, every single week for years.
Motivating, man. I'm the epitome of not being in the right place at the right time. So,
you know what? I'm the epitome of? I'm the epitome of when I get an audition and I read the breakdown in the email. If I see one name that I know even slightly, I was like, oh, nigga, I'm going to get this. I'm going to text him.
Right.
I'm going to call him. And I'm angry because a lot of those did not work.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, we had sex. Why can't I?
What's going on here? You blew my back out. Why is this?
Why can't I get a call back?
Right.
What's going on?
Yeah, my thing was, man, I was a dude being around the Wayans brothers for so many years and working on basically everything they ever did, from the TV shows to the movies and all this. I realized that I got it in my head at an early age, and Keenen Ivory Wayans and Damon Wayans instilled this in our young minds. Like, you can't sit around and wait for Hollywood and have a bunch of excuses. My whole thing was, agent or not, get out there and get it. Yeah. So I can't sit here and lie to you and go, oh, the reason I got all these movies or the reason I got all these TV shows because I had an amazing agent. Nigga, no. Yeah. It was cool the times I had agents, and that was good and great, but I can't give them the credit. It was truly my hustle and then having some talent to go with the hustle.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would never knock an agent, because if you got a great agent, hey man, more power to you. That's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna eat just because I'm not with William Morris or CAA.
Yeah. So so that's a good segue, because I remember if I were to be real, like, I'm good friends with Justin. I'm new friends with Mike. I'm new with Monroe. Me and Alex, our love is just blossoming, like, in the last couple of years. But I have seen Alex on, TV, social media for years as a single dude. And then all of a sudden, beautiful wedding that I wasn't invited to. All my friends were, but I didn't know you like that, so I get that. And it was you seem happier now than you did when you were
dirty whore
running the street.
Yeah, I was. Yes.
And because this is called Married Dude, I always want to. Wasn't an idea that I had. The idea is the podcast, and then I decided, let me talk to married male comedians that I know. And the response from the women who watch, you would think they have never gotten any kind of talk about the birds and the bees in their life, because a lot of women don't get to hear the input from dudes who have made the leap. They hear it from single dudes, but they never hear it from happily married dudes.
Exactly.
So Alex, what
happily.
Yes, that is the key word.
Yeah.
What was
you gotta
it?
marry your best. I gotta say this, not to cut you off.
No.
You gotta marry your best friend.
I was gonna ask you, what made her the one that made you be like, this is the one?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not gonna lie, and she knows, so it's not like I'm, whispering. And then I was a dirty whore. I was deep out in them streets.
That's the next question. Go ahead.
I was
LA streets too.
Yeah. Wait, what'd you say, Monroe?
Them LA streets. Those are different type of streets.
Brother, you gotta understand, being semi-famous in the 90s. You just gotta think about it. I'm surrounded around dudes who are super famous. Like,
I know about D-list.
Yeah. Like nigga, I'm at all of Martin's parties. I'm at all of Will Smith's parties. I'm at all of Jamie Foxx. I'm at Eddie Murphy. These dudes were really famous, right?
Yeah.
But I'm at all them parties. And let's just be real, they can't hit them all. You get what I'm saying? And
you can't bone everybody.
Yeah,
you only got one dick.
Exactly. And I had a few jokes too. You know what I'm saying? And chicks dig a funny little nigga. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't know how honest we're getting here tonight, but I got sick of it. You very rarely will hear a brother say, I got sick of it. And when I say sick of it, meaning it was too many women. It was too much crazy, wild sex shit going on in every city in America. It's tiring. It took a lot of energy. It was financial too. I was that dude that I like to wine and dine chicks, but if you whining and dining 6 chicks a week, sushi and drinks, like nigga, if you're not a billionaire, motherfucker, you're gonna go broke soon. You understand me? But when she came into my life, it was at the time when I was on the decline of I'm done with all these women. Something's got to happen in my life to balance me out. I didn't know she was going to be the one, but it just kind of organically happened. It was like for the first time in my life, I'm like, I don't want to hurt this girl's feelings. For the first time in my life, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna actually tell the truth and not lie. For the first time in my life, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to try to have sex with a chick right away because I'm not going to die. I'm not going to lie to you. Being in the entertainment business and I keep saying, being semi-famous, you don't have to do like the average dude. Hey, girl, let me tell you about myself. Well, you know, I'm a cancer. I enjoy working. Like, nigga, they knew who you were. They already laughed at your jokes. They seen you on TV. They know what they're going to do with you tonight. And it was no effort. It was literally, I'm shaking hands. And before I know it, it's like, God damn, this is in every.
Whoa. And then what happened?
Like, talk slower.
It was too easy.
You an applause break?
They clapping for you? You that good?
It was just too easy, you guys. So when she came into my life, it was almost like I'm not trying to sound cliche. It was sent from up above for somebody. It's almost like if you're a drug addict and you're trying to stop, and you can be that person, the OD, and these drugs take you out of here, or possibly either the Lord or a best friend or somebody do an intervention and somebody say, yo, you need to slow the fuck down because this is what's going to preserve your life. And when I tell you it preserved my life, it brought out the guy in me that was in me the whole time, but I wasn't able to really express that with chicks. I really was a lovey-dovey type guy. I really was the one that wants to, really get to know somebody and take them out on dates and all that. But I finally had a best friend, and she became that one. It didn't happen overnight. It did not happen overnight.
When did it happen? What about her flip the switch in your head to be like, I want to see her again? Because I say all the time, when a woman's on a date with a man, and I'm being honest because a lot of girls feel this way, no matter what our plans are or how aggressive you may or may not be, we sit at the dinner table and we're thinking, we want to hear the guy say, so can I see you again? That's a very magical question for girls.
Well, it's crazy that you said dinner table, because how about the first date we went on? We went to dinner and we got in an argument on the first date when the check came. Because I was trying to be a gentleman, right? It was great conversation, you know what I mean? I'm like, when something good came into my life, we were not talking about sex, just talking about life and things that we have in common. And wow, she's really good. Back of my head, like, man, I would really like to hang out with this chick again, right? Yeah. The bill came. And me, being the gentleman that I am, credit card, no talking, boom, let's keep it moving, keep our talk. She's like, no. I'm going to pay for this. It's like, no. I'm going to pay.
She's an alien.
She literally got into a fighting argument with me. And I found out why. The reason we got into the fight is because she was told by her mom and her dad, don't ever let this dudes pay for your food right away, because then they're going to expect something. Wow. So you show him that,
why
okay,
that was... That's...
Say it again. What'd he say?
I don't know. Jackie's like, wow. And
I'm like, it's like another language. I don't even understand that.
Right.
He's like, hey, I don't even bring my purse.
So,
Bro, let me tell you
You
something.
don't want me to pay for that?
we really got into some real, this is bullshit. I can't, like, really, like, an argument to it almost got a little loud in the restaurant. I'm like, dude, I just met this chick and I'm trying to be a fucking gentleman and she wants to pay. Long story short, it ended up being Dutch. Like, I was not going to let her pay. I was trying to pay. How about you pay for yours and I'll pay for mine and we'll keep it from there. And for some reason, man, that kind of made me go, she's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Or crazy.
I'm so used to paying for whatever and 20 minutes later,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
It was
Let me
standing
do
ovation.
a PSA to the ladies watching. The
Is
opinion.
that what it sounds like?
Wait.
Fucking.
I have a
That's the
PSA.
cheeks.
A PSA to the ladies watching. The opinions of those expressed on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host. Because I don't pay for shit. Okay, go on.
Yeah, well, long story short, we went Dutch, and the rest was history. We really, like, it was the longest I'd ever went without having sex with a girl, just being honest.
How long was
But
this?
it was almost 8 months. So at the time, she got me in the middle of my stages of being a dirty whore. So I had to wean myself off all these other chicks because there's somebody special over
Pay
here that
attention
I'm
to the word wean. Wean means
yeah,
you know,
slowly.
he slowly stopped fucking chicks.
I didn't
But
get
other stuff happened.
Yeah. I didn't get rid of the chicks cold turkey. I'm not gonna lie to you and say they just were all gone right away.
It's like
But they
kicking away
slowly
the M&Ms for ET. Just like nope, not here.
exactly. I just had to make calls to different states. If you're a comic, you know how that is. Like, look, St. Louis, this ain't gonna happen anymore. Hey, Detroit, got something to tell you. Mississippi, look, it was literally I had them all over the country, and I'm not even a pimp. It was just I had nice little friends in every city that I would go, and
You travel
it
for
just
a living.
yeah, it just hey man, you know, even my younger days without even crazy credits, I was doing 30, 40 cities a year. You know what I mean? Just being a comic. But I had to just get rid of it because I realized there's no way in the world with this girl that I really like that might end up being the one day. I wasn't able to have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It was get rid of those.
If you don't mind sharing, how old were you when you decided you were going to settle down and get married?
When I settled down and realized this was the one, it was late 30s. I'm talking 38, 39. And I feel like I'm not going to say this for all men, and you guys have probably heard this before. I'm just talking about for me and a lot of my friends. You probably heard dudes say this before. We got to get that shit out of our system, and you got to truly be done. Now, if you're the type of dude, don't get me wrong, there's some dudes that I commend, brothers. I don't know any of these cats' ages, but I don't know their situations, but I commend the dudes. They're able to get married young and start families at a young age. And dude, when I was in my 20s, not only I would have been a horrible dad, I would have been a horrible father, I would have been out in these streets, I would have had baby mamas all over the place, I would have been wild and crazy, you know, and I would have been lying to them and lying to me, child support. It would have just been a mess. So a lot of the dudes my age go, Alex, I wish I did it your way. Like, waited till I was ready, till I had some type of financial stability and not deal with all that I dealt with. I'm not knocking those dudes. I just wasn't a guy.
How long you been married?
So we've been together 15 years, married 6. Okay. And now the children, she got pregnant on the wedding night, like immediately.
Hell yeah.
Like I waited no time. Like my daughter's 5. Exactly.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, exactly. My daughter's 5. My son is 2, and we have a brand new son that's 3 months old.
I remember when the Instagram baby announcement, you were on the floor or you had cash on the ground, like, God damn it. Again? Like, that's how you tell the world. I thought that was so funny. You were like,
but it was time, man. It was time, but I'm done, Jackie. Like I said, I'm getting my left ball removed next week. I was thinking if I was your wife, even post surgery to lock all the tubes up, I would still be like, you got to pull out for at least 6 months because I don't trust you. No, we got to. No, that's gonna. Once I get snipped, I'm not lying when I say next Thursday. Like as of next Thursday, my new comedy name is Uno. I'm gonna have 1 ball. Okay, and I gotta pull out 2 because they said there's still a chance.
Yeah.
When
that was doctor's orders.
Sad.
No, that's it. Are any of you guys snipped?
No, they're young.
But they do. When you get a vasectomy, they say you can still get them pregnant within like the first month.
Exactly. So you gotta still,
and you can get a reverse, but I don't think.
Wait. Let me.
Because they can be shit in the chamber. You can already have some residual left.
Okay, hold on,
Mike. But Alex,
Mike and Monroe are.
You don't also turn into Lance Armstrong.
Wait, Justin, say that one more time.
What?
I think you keep both your nuts. You don't all of a sudden become Lance Armstrong. They just
I am too. I vouched to get my nuts. I'm getting neutered.
He was like, take my balls, please.
Yeah. Take my balls. Not both balls, just one.
Hines.
Just one.
I didn't know that was an option.
I have one dark. I have a rare condition. I have one light skin ball, one dark skin ball.
All right, we're not going there, Alex.
Okay.
Which one did you let go?
I know exactly.
I'm fucking with y'all.
Hey, Justin.
I don't. By the way,
we're gonna go to Justin next. Justin,
I don't want to talk as long as Alex about this because I want to reveal some shit about me that I don't want to. Go ahead.
How long have you been married, Justin?
2001. My son was my best man. He was 1 year old.
Wow. So 19 years.
And what made
19 years, but we've been together for like 25.
Wow,
what kind of single guy were you?
Horrible.
Horrible as in you didn't do a good job or you did too good a job?
No, it wasn't horrible. It was just, I had fun. When I was living in Montreal, I had fun. When I was living in New York, I had fun, and I didn't really stick to any real commitment. And then it wasn't until I came to LA and then I met my wife here and then we got married after she got pregnant in Austin, Texas. And that whole story is just like, that was crazy because she was casting. All right. I don't want to get into it, but
yeah,
she was casting a commercial in Austin, Texas. And she was the assistant. And then somebody was like, hey, listen, bring your dog and put your dog on the commercial audition ticket. And I was like, okay, cool. So I put him in. The dog got the job. My dog got the job. So I had to drive all the way because he was too big to put on a plane to Austin, Texas. So I had to drive 36 hours to Austin, Texas. Now, the thing somebody said, when you drive to Austin, you want to do it as quickly as possible. So the best way to stay awake is eat as many sunflower seeds.
That's me. That's crazy. That's me driving.
So, man, I got to tell you, like, I ate sunflower seeds, but I had it down to a science where I'd crack all these seeds and then I'd stuff the seeds in the upper roof of my tongue, like my mouth, and then I just sweep it and it'd be like sunflower peanut butter. But the thing is that sunflower seeds put a little lead in the pencil. So when I saw my wife, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Gives you a little.
I know the story.
What?
It's like an aphrodisiac, I guess.
It's an aphrodisiac.
Let me go on Amazon and buy 17 dozen sunflower seed bags.
That's why hood niggas always knocking up chicks.
Exactly.
You're gonna see Jackie in Central Park handing out sunflower seeds to feeding dudes like pigeons.
So real quick, the guy that I'm dating now, he loves nuts. Sunflower seeds, pistachio, cashews, and that's the problem. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
I think some nuts actually work in reverse. I think some don't, like cashews. I don't know if they actually do the trick.
All nuts.
Anyways, I have no idea.
This is informative.
I'm not a nutologist. So anyways, so when I got there, I mean, I just saw her, and it was like June 6th, 2000. And I got her pregnant right there in Austin, Texas, and thus our son's middle name is Austin. No, it wasn't, because I did what Alex was talking about. I pulled out.
Yeah.
Why did dudes do that?
Why do guys, I did.
Why do people not protect themselves?
But I had like 40 pounds.
That's crazy.
No,
Justin, you were 1.9. Justin, you were 1.9 seconds too late when you pulled out.
It was here and here. That was it.
Right, exactly.
Here and here.
Yep.
Life, nothing.
Right.
Hey, y'all been married. Go ahead.
So yeah, we've been married. We've been married ever since then. But the thing is, like, we didn't have anything. We had scratch. I was a signature away from being on what do you call it? Welfare, where you got to fill out a Bible. And we went downtown, and I got the kid in my arm, and I'm filling out this thing. I mean, it's a thick book. And then I just looked at my wife and I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to sign this. I'm going to do everything in my power to make it so that we don't have to be on welfare. We were on WIC. So we got, government cheese and rice and cereal and all that shit. And, you got to get the check. You know how humiliating that is when you go to the cashier and you got
to be the cashier. I'm very familiar.
Perforate. You got to perforate the shit, and you got to sign it. And everyone's waiting in line. It's like that Sebastian joke, like I was that old lady perforating checks at Ralph's getting my government cheese. But I just put my nose to the grind, to the grind, or I don't know, whatever it is. I did what Alex is. I did what Alex did. I hustled. I'm a fucking hustler.
Man, that's what you got it. When you go, people ask me, how did my hustle get so strong? I said, you know what? When you don't have a plan B, plan A got to work.
Yeah. And I didn't have a plan B.
If you go into it thinking this might not happen, this might not work, then you're setting yourself up for that.
Somebody's baby is dying.
Whose baby is that?
That's two of them chasing each other.
All right, okay, Jesus. Mike. Yes. What made your wife the one that made you be like, I'm gonna hang out with her for a couple more, years?
So I'm just messing with girls, man. It's like what you do, So I'm just around. I'm out there. I'm enjoying life. I'm hitting clubs, but I work with her at the grocery store. That's what I'm talking about when I was the cashier ringing a wick.
What grocery store?
Albertsons.
All right.
Albertsons.
Where?
Albertsons. I know all about it.
Yeah, I'm at Albertsons taking a wick checks. And man, the thing is, we just friends first. She giving me advice with the girls that I'm messing around with, like, yo, this what you want to do. And now I'm hearing her dating situation, and we just like friends first for years. And then we just start hanging out. We just like, yeah, man, let's go to the movies. All this is as friends. And then one day it's just kind of like, hey man, like let's cross the line. Like I think I made a move, which I recommend. I hate when like you just gotta do it. You just gotta be like, fuck it.
Go for it. Balls to the wall.
Yeah. Right. So I make a move, and we just kind of that. And the friends first thing, I think, is the reason that we kind of had this foundation of it's not gonna end.
Yeah.
Like I just know, man. Like it gets bad. I think we on the ropes right now, but I know I ain't leaving.
Yeah, exactly. It's not an option. It's not an option.
Gonna argue and go to sleep.
But man, I will tell you this. I will tell you this, man. I was dating girls and all this stuff, man. But what she did, she's older. She was cooking for me. So she was like, it was nice when like the homies like, yo, let's hit the club. I'm like, man, she making pork chops and rice and stuff. So hey man, I'm gonna just go over there. And man, she like was planning it. Like she was doing it on Friday and Saturday nights.
Y'all boys are like, Most Def is performing. I know, but my wife making pot roast. Those
are the best nights. When my boyfriend texts me, he's like, hey, I brought some crab sticks. I was like, hey, I'm a crab leg. I'm like, you know what? Right. I had a gig, but it wasn't paying. Fuck that gig. I'm gonna come over.
Right. Exactly.
So, man,
that's the best excuse. Yeah,
man, that took over. And the homies knew they were seeing me less. And I was like, I mean, y'all could come over here.
Exactly.
They didn't want to do that. Of course they didn't want to do that. So yeah, man.
Wait, you know what, Mike? I gotta add something. When you said homies, right? That was another thing. When your best friends, your homies, the ones that you was in the trenches with when you were wild and crazy, when they, at different times and silently in your ear going, yo, she's a good one. Or yo, I think she's the one. Or yo, you need to keep her. When they're saying that from different directions, that means they're seeing from the outside in, like, don't fuck that up.
Yeah.
Like I've seen you with all these scandalous bitches out here, nigga, and none of them been as good as her. Don't fuck that up.
Your friends ain't been saying that, Mike?
Yo, man, I got a homeboy that was told her, you're not going to break us up. That's what he told her.
Wow.
That's so funny.
Yeah, man. And to this day, man, we don't talk a lot, but he's like my number one, man. Like to this day, but he lost.
That's actually a big deal. My last boyfriend in LA, popular dude, and friends that he's had since kindergarten. Way too long, in my opinion, to have friends that long. But when him and his boys had plans, and he'd be like, do you want to come? Knowing that I would fit in, and it wouldn't be like your girl is there. It'd be like Jackie's coming, and his friends are like, bring her. That was how I knew like I was in it. When his friends were like,
yeah.
"Is she home with you yet?" Then tell her to come along. And
Exactly.
then I became a part of his life. And then I'm like, well, how's your friend doing? How's his wife? And you find a way to get into his life that is not romantically based. Then he's like, I don't want to do it without her because my boys like
Right.
her, and she's not making me feel like my wife, my girlfriend is there. It's my
And that's how
friend is
you
there.
break up the band.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the whole
yeah.
point.
Who brought up
Break
cooking?
that shit up.
Who brought up
brought
cooking?
up
Was it
cooking.
you, Mike? Mike
Mike
Yeah.
brought it up. Yeah.
Right.
So another thing my wife did, because that's another thing, you just beat me to the punch. She's a hell of a cook.
Yeah.
So what she did was smart was she's like, have your boys come over for dinner.
Mm.
So now, nigga, she's
Slick.
getting into their hearts and stomachs because they're like,
Wow.
nigga, Peaches, the stripper that you were with for years, that bitch couldn't warm up some nachos, nigga. And your girl's over here making broccolini and, you know, Chilean sea bass. Like, nigga,
Hey,
she was my wife.
Isn't it
Little
so
things like
simple?
that. Yeah,
it's so simple but so underrated.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
people, you gotta eat, and if you're the source of the food, and
essential.
you like, you could just come here and get it. And he's like,
Yeah.
shit, I don't have to go to Veggie Grill tonight. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like,
Right. My
What you
wife
do,
started
your
doing
house?
shit. My wife started doing shit where we would go to a restaurant, we'll have whatever we ordered. And then all I know, the next night, she made the exact same shit, but 10 times better than the restaurant.
Scam artists love her.
Oh wow.
Like,
Yeah.
I didn't see you go online today to figure out the seasoning
Yeah.
for that cayenne jambalaya gumbo. Like, what?
That's
When
diabolical.
did that happen?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't trust your wife now.
She got some skills. Okay, Monroe.
Oh,
Monroe, what kind of
That's so
single guy
funny.
were you, and why'd your wife make you be like, I'm a wife her? Because you're young as fuck.
Yeah, I'm 34. I'm not that
You're
young.
not that young. You're not anymore.
Yeah,
Go
no,
ahead.
I'm not that young anymore. No, I met my wife in my whole stage. We dated twice. So that was the thing. I dated my wife in the whole stage where she was just like a part of the rotation. But I know I was a part of her rotation too. She just didn't want to admit that shit. Because she would like Uber. I lived in Brooklyn. She lived in Queens, and she would Uber me to her house in the morning so we can like fuck before she goes to work, and then send me back home.
She's
Right?
a G. I
So
love
I'm
her.
like,
wow.
damn,
Send you back home like
and
you're
I'm
11.
all right, fine. I'm cool with that. But like once, like you start like you hanging out at comedy clubs, like you start seeing the same faces over and over again, like the same girls you've already been with, and then it just gets boring. And I found myself like talking to my friends about her. And I had a female roommate at the time, I had Chloe. And I think it's very important. Chloe Hillier was my roommate. And I think it's very important to have like a woman in your life who's going to like be real. And I'm like looking at pictures of her on Instagram and like, oh, what do you think? And she's like, nigga, just fucking like talk to her, but like be serious this time. Like if you reach out to her, don't go back to her with the same fuck shit. Like, hey, you want to hang out and just fuck? Like, be a man about it, and like
Tell her how you
date
feel.
her. Yeah, so I did that, and we were like fucking around for a little bit. We weren't dating, but I guess we started dating because we was at the Long Island City Piers. We was chilling, eating a hot dog, and like in the middle of it, she was like, "What the fuck are we doing? Are we together, or are we just fucking around? Because I don't want this shit."
She needs that title.
and I
Women
got
need a
scared.
title.
And my wife was tiny. My wife was like a tiny little Colombian woman. So I'm like, I thought we was dating. Like I said that I bitched out, and I was like, I thought we was together this whole time.
I bitched out.
And then from there, I just started like going with the flow. And about a year in, it was just like, hey, you want to move in together? And then we got married after we moved in together.
Yeah.
Yo, man, can I
same thing.
ask
I
a
had the
question?
We've
same
been
Monroe?
together 5 years. We've been together 5, married for 2.
I want to know this, Monroe. Is Chloe still in your life? Like, is
Chloe,
it cool with
you said. Oh yeah, Chloe is still there. Chloe's still my homie.
So it's cool for you to have a girlfriend on the like just a friend.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
Chloe's a comic.
Wow.
Chloe is cool.
You're not allowed to. You can't.
That's
Mike,
impressive.
Mike, I have a question for you, Mike.
Wait,
Mike,
you
I have a
can't?
question for
What's
you.
good?
Yeah.
And that question is because me and you probably on the same page right here.
Yeah.
I'm guessing your wife is black also.
Lakeisha is her name.
Okay, thank you.
funny.
And then I heard Monroe said his
Colombian,
is Colombian.
yeah.
You said Colombian? Yeah. I think it might be safe to say the reason why Mike was so wow, you can have because most black women ain't going for that.
No.
Like, am I right, Jackie?
I have to keep my friendships a secret. So I respect that the men have to do the same thing. I don't want to, unless I already knew her when we got together. Yeah. But you can't just be like, I'm going to the movies. Because when a man leaves out the pronoun, that's always when you're like, who the fuck is he going to hang out with?
My friends.
He did not say the gender.
And Monroe,
I'll definitely. It was funny because I'll text her. I'll be like, "Hey, I'm hanging out with Derek and them and M." Like, you know, instead of saying them, and she'll be like, "Who the fuck is M?" And I'm like, "No, I meant M."
Okay, so now, this is just the triple OG in me talking right now, Monroe. But I got to be honest, and I got to ask you a question as if, nigga, like we've been friends 30 years. I got to ask you this question.
What's up?
So, any woman that is okay with that girl, what's her name? Chloe.
Yeah.
Chloe. I'm just asking, Monroe, is Chloe cute, sexy, fine?
No. Wait, Chloe is like me. She's a homegirl. She's a comic, a popular comic on the circuit.
Hey man,
no, I'm asking what her look is. It doesn't matter. I don't care what she is. I'm trying to get my point out here. I don't care if she's president of the United States. Is she cute?
I disagree with your point already. I disagree with your point.
Chloe's a beautiful
woman. You know where I'm going with this, Mike?
No,
do you know where I'm going?
Where you're going
I couldn't hang out with a gay chick. Because, man, I'm like, ain't nothing gonna happen.
See, my thing is this. I guess what I'm trying to say is if your homegirl looks like Biggie, nigga, if your homegirl looks like Kendrick Lamar in the face, nigga,
doesn't matter.
She's not gonna have a problem. But if if your homegirl looks like Halle Berry / Sanaa Lathan, whoever you want to think is gorgeous, usually the women have a problem with that.
Yeah,
I disagree with your point, but continue.
I agree. If I hang out with a guy platonically, I usually leave out if he's a really good looking guy. Yeah. Because nobody wants to hear you hanging out at night. A non-comic.
Yeah. It worked out because Chloe was my roommate. Chloe was my roommate.
I'm sorry,
and we started dating when Chloe was still my roommate. So she had questions first. Like the questions are, wait, you live with a female? Y'all do something? Y'all ever do something? You ever thought about it? And you answer those questions, then it's like
thought about it. Women.
Yeah.
Women.
She asked it. Of course you think about it. Everybody thinks about it. No one doesn't think about it. But what I ended up doing was I brought her around to all the hangs so she can see what the hangs are. That way she doesn't have nothing to worry about.
Get comfortable with your environment.
Yeah, she'd be like, this is the environment, because she would text me. I would get text like, hey, what you doing? Where you at? And then I was like, all right, I gotta let her see this shit so I don't have to.
And it shows you're not hiding anything.
Yeah, I mean that's the best way to hide something.
There you have it.
What are you
Little
saying?
did she know at the hang, the bartender was the one that you were hitting from the back.
So wait, Mike. So Mike, you have one son, no other kids?
No, I have several, and like I said, my wife sold. I got 3 other boys, and man, apparently
I didn't know that.
For real?
Here's the thing. I did something right, and that's why I had boys. I've treated women awesomely throughout the years. I've even hold to perfection, because to have boys is the greatest thing ever, man.
Where are these boys? Is there a different mother? These 3 boys?
No. Stepman is with Stepman. You know, that's the oldest one, and then
wait. Tell Monroe. Stepman.
What's Stepman?
Tell Monroe.
My wife's older, so I got a stepson, and me and him, we close in age. So I call him Stepman because he old as hell. But man, my closest friends don't even know there's 3 other ones, man, because I try to stay in a little family bubble and keep that separate. And I
so you obviously don't talk about it on stage.
I do. Like in my last special, I did talk about like coaching my 10-year-old and stuff, but you know, to a limit. I let the public know what I want them to know. Right. So that's how I move. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you guys think single women, the ones who are watching or will watch this for sure, what do you think single women are doing, not wrong, but what advice, those of you that Justin has daughters, Alex has daughters.
No,
Alex,
I got one daughter.
I got one daughter, yeah.
One daughter, one son.
0. No kids.
Justin, what would you teach your daughter? What would you teach your daughter about dating and men now, Justin?
Well, I like the part where Alex's now wife was paying her own way. I think that's cool. I tell my daughter that she's got to be strong and she's got to be independent and she's got to sift through the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up. And that's the one thing. The one thing about my daughter is that I'm very honest with her. I don't mince words.
Gotta be, man.
I do not mince words, and I'll even use, the big words, like don't let anyone get in your face. And if they do, fucking kick them in the nuts. I'm I don't know. Maybe it's just my Canadian sensibility, but
how old is she now?
She's 12.
Has she shown an interest in any kind of romantic life with anyone?
No. I mean, she's had a crush on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
This one little kid who kind of looks like the QB for KC. But yeah,
Patrick Mahomes.
But other than that, she's still sweet little innocent. So, I'm not really there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Because my daughter's only 5. And
what do you tell her at 5?
Yeah. What would you teach her?
That's
what are you going to teach her?
I was just about to. Yeah. My thing is I'm starting off like you did, Justin. And what that is, because I talk about it all the time, I am going to tell my daughter everything I know. Everything I know, whether she wants to hear it. I mean, as far as protecting her, everything daddy knows that could possibly happen in the streets or possibly happen with boys. So there is no anything really hitting her from left field. Like I've never heard that or I had no clue. Don't get me wrong.
How about something
she's going to live it.
How about something as controversial as, sweetheart, just so you know, a lot of boys think that oral and anal is not actual intercourse.
Okay, here, hold on.
Jesus
Before
Christ.
you get to oral and anal, because I can't.
Now the oral,
as long as you live in my house.
Okay, everybody, your head got excited. Everybody, slow down.
Ain't nothing going in your ass.
First of all, if I'm having oral and anal talks with my daughter, that's probably going to be on the porn set if she decided to end up being a porn star. And if she does decide to be a porn star, I have failed as a dad. That's all I'm saying.
No. That's right. That's a very big problem in the youth of young people is that a lot of girls get scammed or told by boys your virginity is intact as long as there's no penetration vaginally. That's a common thing.
But I'm going to be, what's crazy as that sounds, Jackie, I'm going to be that honest with her. I have to let her, when she's old enough, like Justin said, 12, he's going to have to cross that bridge soon or whatever. Mine's only 5, so I'm not even close to that. But yeah, exactly. But I am going to tell her everything I know, so it's not a surprise. First of all, I think the first thing you have to do as a father to your daughter, you have to let her know that there's no one on this planet other than mommy that loves you as much as I do. When you let that daughter, same thing with your boys. Yeah, I saw just recently. I saw they did some type of a survey, right? Amongst, they said, what do majority of young African American men that are in prison and young African American women that are, I hate to say it, hoes or strippers and all that kind of shit, what do they all have in common? Daddy wasn't there, right? If there was a man, I hate to use words or whatever, his names, but say fucking Black China or Amber Rose or what is it? If there was a man in their life to say, I love you and really mean it, and it's dad, that first dude that comes up to you that compliments you on your booty or compliments you on your nose ring or your high heels, he's not going to get that ass right away. Because really, nigga, is that all you can come with? If you didn't have somebody to show you love, that dude that's 16 years old that was already robbing banks, slanging cocaine, shooting up the school at 16 years old. That dude that said, yeah, nigga, saying I had to provide for the family at 16. That's horrible that you had to provide for the family at 16. Because you know what that means? At 16, you're making grown man choices that a father or someone older than you should have did. My point is, daddy wasn't there.
Can I add on to
if
that
there
too?
was an older OG to tell that young man, look, man, this is not the shit you do. This can get you. I watch prison documentaries. And one thing all these dudes say, man, I wish I had an OG or dad, a big brother, nigga that would have pulled me my coattail and be like, no, nigga, don't bring that gun to school.
Yeah.
No, young lady, don't start stripping and giving blowjobs for $20 a piece with, prom night. Like, come on, dude.
Well, what are you going to say, Mike?
Everything I know.
So, hey, and kind of adding on to that, man, this is my advice. If we doing advice or whatever, I think with all of us, including men, women, we need to find our happiness first, our own happiness, and not look to get it from someone else. Like I get that you want to compliment somebody and find somebody that works for you, and all that is grand, but don't look for them to be the source of making you happy. Once
that's where daddy comes in, Mike. You're backing up what I'm saying. You're backing up what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I'm adding on. And if you have it, then it's just going to be the makings for a better relationship. And we go through our things, man, but the bottom line is that we're going to sustain because man, I found joy and she finding joy, and we just matching it together and piecing it together. So
and shout out to
people. Can I add on to Mike?
Yes, go ahead.
The one thing that when you have a daughter who's stepping into puberty and it's just transfixed on TikTok and social media, the one thing that always is really prevalent in their life is they want validation now. Now the validation is huge.
Instant.
Getting the likes on TikTok, and it's instant, And the thing is, what's crazy now is that with social media, it blindly translates and forms that and molds your child onto from what was once on a computer or your phone, and then blindly translates into their life on the street. So there's times where, like, my daughter will come out of her room and she's wearing a halter top and the belly's showing, and I'm like, get the fuck back in the room. We're walking the dog.
We're walking the dog. Right.
We're walking the dog.
Exactly. That's inappropriate at the dog park.
That's all we're doing. Okay. Because she thinks that's what she sees there. It's what's going on. And one of the I'm reading this one book right now. It's Why Black Men Love White Women. And what they do is they talk about the history.
That's the name of the book?
Yeah, Why Black Men Love White Women.
That's right to the point, ain't it?
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. That's probably a bestseller. Jesus.
And they talk about and my daughter, my wife is Iranian German, but my daughter, she actually came out darker than even me, and she's got big old kinky hair, and it's adorable. And one time we went to go walk the dog, and she had that, and she was already on the street before I can say anything. And while she was walking, she's wearing the halter top. There was a guy in a Trans Am that was driving by, and he slowed down to look at her. And so I had to pull her back, and I was like, listen, here's the situation right now. The chips are going to be stacked against you. One, because you're a woman. Two, you're a woman of color. And the woman of color, Black woman, is at the lowest end of the totem pole historically. And what's really important is that you recognize that and you supersede any of that bullshit that is laid upon you. And dressing like that ain't gonna make anybody like you anymore. It's actually you're only feeding into the bullshit 500-year dance, and check out why Black men love white women. The shit
I'm afraid to read it.
What's your solution?
I might set a small village on fire.
The solution
is it talking to her, or is it taking away TikTok?
I talked to her. It's both. It's both. And by the way, the people who really know what's going on don't, like, I wean her off TikTok. That, like, I have to, it's a period of time where I'm like, okay, TikTok is cool because, they're dancing and it's not video games, and they're doing stuff, but there's the combination of validation and also sexy moves by a 12-year-old, which is just inappropriate. Yeah. It's the closest thing to being on a stripper pole without being on a pole. Yeah. Let's be for real. All those girls in Lululemons.
Yeah. Well, my shit will only be in theory because I don't have any children.
You want kids, don't you?
I definitely want kids, yeah. My wife was the first woman I dated who had an active father, and her life, like her dad raised her, and I seen the difference. Like she didn't need me, and that made me want her. Like, you know what I mean? And I definitely want to put that in my I definitely want to put that in my daughters because back to what Mike was saying. Is I always had like this saying that I try to tell my sisters because I got 2 younger sisters and stuff. I'm like, no one should complete you. You already completed. Like I don't like when people go, "This is my better half." You should be your better half. And I don't even want my kid, man or woman, being in a serious relationship until they know who they are and they know what they will tolerate and won't tolerate. My wife is kind of against it because I'm like, look, like our kid can have boyfriends and girlfriends, but they can't tell me, "Oh, I'm in love, they're the one," because that shit is not true. That's who you are feeling at that time, but you don't know if the person is the one because you don't know who the fuck you are yet.
Guys shouldn't get married under 30.
Exactly.
So what are you guys noticing, or what would you say that single girls are doing wrong? Like, what do you think is missing in the dating world? Is the list too long? Expectations are too high?
I know.
No standards at all. Like, what are you noticing? What have you noticed?
I personally don't have any.
Yeah, I liked it.
I can't really say anything. Like Monroe said, like in theory, like I have my ideas. You know, can I blame it on Condé Nast and all the other publications that are telling women that they're too fat or too thin or that they have to wear this, that, and the other, or the fact that that they're that there's so much pressure on them. I don't know. But
forget about the apps.
I would say it's just read.
I have an answer.
Just read. Wait. Just read a book. Read a book and be and what Monroe says, just like be your validate yourself.
First of all, wait.
Okay.
Justin, did you find in the women that you were hanging out with prior to being married, was there any kind of commonality that made them be like, nope, and then okay?
No. The one thing that I'm always attracted to is a very strong woman. That's the one thing. And like, going out on a date and they're like, "No, I got this." And I'll be like, "Okay." It's always,
I'm going to die alone.
I'm always paying. I always pay.
What are other ways of being strong?
No matter what.
You're a gentleman.
Yeah. Okay, Mike, what were you going to say?
I don't know if I'm a gentleman. It's just I'm generous. I think
you're a generous gentleman.
Yeah.
I'm a generous dude.
Hey, look,
I mean, the whole chivalry is still alive.
I don't buy it.
Tag team, Mike. Go ahead.
You were saying, what are women doing wrong?
All my girlfriends.
That's tough. That's a tough call to point out what people are doing wrong. But I will say, social media is disgusting. We've known this. People are posting the good stuff, and that's all you seeing. And you're like, "Oh, this is how I should be." You're being brainwashed. And if you can just step aside and know what you want and know what you will put up with, know what you're willing to accept. Like, all right,
hey Mike, I always say I'm happy I found my wife before all this social media shit, because I feel for all my friends that are going that route, or I get it's the way of the world right now. And what a lot of people don't realize, man, your timeline says it all, and to answer your question, Jackie, what are these girls doing wrong? What they don't realize, and vice versa, it's not just women, it's men too.
Yeah.
You could say one thing all day till you're blue in the face. Like you can meet a chick and the old school, so what are the kind of, I like reading, I'm kind of like to myself, I'm kind of like a homebody, and I don't know, I rollerblade on the weekends. And then you're like, what is your Instagram? And you look at her Instagram and her timeline.
Bad booty hole, Tony 22.
Yeah. According to your timeline, you won the booty shake contest at Chris Brown's birthday party last week. You were in 9 50 Cent videos. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, and you have a pole dancing class on the side. You didn't tell me all that shit. Yeah. So all the nasty shit that you do, it's almost like you're telling me this, but your time, it's Instagram and social media is a gift and a curse. So if you're going to say something, make sure your timeline backs it up, because that's going to really tell the truth, who you are and what you're all about.
The rules for getting hired, or at least having a good reputation for getting work, it should apply to people looking for love also. Like people, you know how they say, be careful what you post because you might need a job one day, and the person who has the power to hire you or book you, they look through all your shit.
But
Like
here's my thing,
yeah,
Jackie, and I'm asking you as a woman. Like
yeah,
again, we're all married dudes now, but I still ask questions, and I'm
yeah,
still on this thing because I gotta stay into what's going on, and you know what I mean. You gotta keep your ear and your eyes to the street. But as a woman, right, when you're putting certain stuff out there,
yeah.
right, but then you claim to want a certain amount of respect, or you're not this and that type girl, or how do you what am I trying to say? It's like you're telling me one thing, but I'm looking at your social media
No,
and they don't
I
add
agree.
up.
It has come back to haunt me where I'll put up, I'll put up jokes or I'll put up, kind of dirty girl humor, and then I'll realize you just finished saying how you're kind of lonely and you wouldn't mind getting married one day. I know that men look at that and like, well, you said you're single and you're looking,
Right.
but here you're like, giving head
Not
and
that you're lying. You're not lying. It's just like
no, but it's people don't think that deeply, and you can't expect somebody to decipher understand
what about
what you're
us?
saying. No, I get that. I'm just saying
No,
women have to be somewhat accountable. Where you post that you really are looking for love,
That's
and
what
then
I'm
you post a
saying.
joke about how your head game is
Accountable.
crazy.
But I'm saying, guys, we get to post anything. Is that fair? We get to post anything. Like if I like get into some whole stuff, people are drawn to it. Like, oh man, oh he been on TV. Oh he got these girls, and it's like, oh, so we get to post anything, but women have to be a certain way.
But I feel like dudes would have to deal with the same thing.
But women have more of a. We have to be accountable whether we want to be or not.
Yeah.
Depending on how we dress, how we talk, who our friends are, what we joke around about. And that's just a burden that we have as females, where the double standard is we're going to be held accountable all the time. I remember saying to one guy I used to date, he wanted to go out again. I'm like, no, because you're not about anything real. He's like, you don't act like somebody who wants a husband because I put sex jokes online. And that's the way. And he knew me.
But that's different. You're entertaining. You're in entertainment.
People don't.
It doesn't matter.
You'd be surprised how men will approach a female comic after a show, talking about, "Hey, you made a joke about your head game was crazy. I was joking. I don't know you.
Yeah.
Hey man, but see,
you can't blame the man for asking. Though.
Okay, he's shoot your shot. That's all I'm saying. I get it.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Shoot your shot. I get it.
The reasons why we'll accept it is because all of us here are jaded. Like we've seen the darkest dark. We've been around. We've seen very shitty shit. So I love a girl with a sense of humor that's gonna say some off the wall shit. Like that's sexy to me.
But
imagine the dude that work at the bank and you say that shit. He's like, oh my,
right. No, exactly.
Because there is some inherent intelligence, in my opinion, in an entertainer where we know that what the joke we put out there is not real. But the average person, if you travel the country. No offense to people around it, but people aren't that bright.
Yeah.
And they're not going to work that hard to be
the majority, right? Exactly.
Yeah, people are not going to work that hard to be like she's a Christian. I know she made jokes about someone. They don't do all that thinking.
But that's not the guy you're going after. You don't want that guy. You don't want that guy who isn't going to take the time to be like, oh, all right,
exactly.
This is a part of her sense of humor.
But
you don't want that.
But you also shouldn't block your blessings and ignore the fact that you're putting out a message that the world's going to read and watch. You can't be naive like that.
Well, a pimp once told me, he said...
Who told you? Who told you?
A pimp named Slickback.
I saw a pimp once talk to a hoe, and he said basically, if you don't want to be looked at as a hoe, then don't do hoe shit. So what kills me is when I see girls that they claim to be classy, and this is the type of man I'm looking for, and I went, okay, but look what you're putting out there. You can't think that I'm going to come at you in a certain way, and the first picture I ever saw you on social media, I saw your uterus. Okay? I saw your uterus before I even knew your whole goddamn name. How are you going to demand a certain, this is the kind of stuff I would tell my daughter. You can't put that out there. I met you in booty shorts. Your nipples were out. You're fucking twerking upside down on the table, and then be like, excuse me, what did you say to me? Well, according to your timeline, you do whole shit. So I'm going to talk to you like that.
Equally yoked is a thing. I think if you want to be a hoe and the guy wants to be a hoe, you got to
there's a person for that shit.
Yourself to commitment.
No, you're right. You're right. You guys are right. You're right.
Hoe and enjoy life the way life should be enjoyed, hoeing together.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
I'm talking about girls that are trying to act like they're not. I have a problem with people trying to act like they're not that.
Hoeing together does not imply commitment and monogamy.
Yet no, there's other forms of relationship, like monogamy in many ways is a curse. Like people are like making themselves do it, and every day they're thinking about it, and that's a whole nother story. But man, you don't have to have that relationship. There's many different relationships you can agree out the gate. Like, don't like change later and then expect things to work out without like a conversation. But man, don't just obligate or lock yourself down to it has to be like this. There's many ways to have successful happiness and joy in life. Because bottom line,
that's what I was saying
joy.
About you, Jackie. I'm like, but if you're being you, you'll attract the person who will want to get to know you. But if you change from who you are to fit a more general thing, now you're getting guys who are like, oh no, I thought you was this type of girl. And
I'm never gonna change for him, man. I'm just saying you can't be so blind that you're like, whatever I post, they gonna know.
Because there's niggas who like hoes. I am friends with niggas who like hoes, and you know what I mean? But I'm talking about I'm talking about love hoes.
You're just not wiping them up. That's all.
Like
they're extracurricular activity.
There are niggas who wiping hoes
and
up.
The women
that is true.
Yes,
you do have a point there.
Guys, the women who watch this podcast, the majority of them, they want to be wifed up. That's my point.
But it's all about the way you present yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
It's all about, if that's my note to all the single women out there, kind of going back to what you said earlier, Jackie, you get what you put out there. Like you get what I'm saying?
I got advice. Stay away from entertainers.
Mike, you are too black and white with your rules.
Hey, look,
life ain't that easy.
Hey man, you don't want somebody that's like in entertainment. Like find someone that his dream was to have a family. How many comedians is like their dream is to have a family? They're like, yo, I'm trying to blow up. Like I'm trying to get this money.
But Mike, the flip side of that is, that chick that you're just talking about, she's gonna go, but he's not fly. He's not. Right. He don't dress. He don't got the new Air Force Ones. I've never seen him in any Gucci or Louis. He ain't got an iced out watch. It's like you want this. What's crazy is you want a guy that's gonna respect you. You want that guy like you just said, Mike. But if you get with the entertainer, just know ahead of time, and I'm not knocking or snitching on any of our brothers that do this. Just know if you get with that platinum selling nigga, if you get with that superstar nigga, if you get with that nigga with 32 cars, if you get that nigga that's got Gucci, Louis, Fendi, everything, just understand there's 26 bitches that come along with it. Hey, but so don't sit there and cry. Oh, I can't believe he did a bitch. Look who you got with.
Yeah. Well, then change.
I'm being brutally honest, but I thought that's what you wanted, Jackie.
Change how you view flyness. Flyness is that guy that's working hard all week, 9 to 5, muscling it out for that 40,000.
But she's not, Mike. But she's not. She rather fuck with Trey Songz, nigga.
Okay.
She rather fuck with Odell Beckham Jr., nigga. You get what I'm saying?
Even if you forget about the entertainment part, Lamar Odom and his fiance just broke up because he relapsed. He's a crackhead. I'm just saying, be aware.
Yeah.
Well, you should know better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Things like that.
You made him, he got a crack pipe. Okay. Like, and maybe hold off.
Give him at least 2 years of sobriety.
No one beats crack. I'm just saying that.
Okay. Would you guys get married again if, God forbid, this didn't work? Justin?
No.
Say, hey, Justin, would you get married again?
No.
No? I can't hear you. A little louder? Hey, did you go lower?
No, yeah. I've actually had this conversation with my wife. She's asked me, would you ever do it? Like, if God forbid anything happened, I'm like, what's the point? Like, what is the point? There's absolutely nothing that I would want to do less than to go through another ceremony.
This shit takes a lot out of you. Marriage is work.
Fuck that. I mean, I've already been in it for 25 plus years, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm out.
Okay, why you have a breakdown? Okay, Monroe, would you get married again?
Nope. Just like what Justin was saying, I talked to my wife. We had the conversation because I feel like all women like if I die, will you remarry? And it's like no, but I'm gonna be with the hoes. I'm gonna be with the hoes.
Slide back into that lifestyle.
I'm gonna slide.
All right,
Jackie, if I can come back. Jackie,
so basically, what you're saying, if your wife dies, you go right back to King of Diamonds, nigga. That's what you're doing.
Wait,
absolutely. I'm gonna be sad. I'm not gonna want to give that part of me to anybody else again, and I'm gonna just focus on me and my happiness until I die.
You'll be sad while you're rolling up a blunt on this big booty bitch's ass.
Justin, what were you gonna add, Justin?
No.
Okay, Mike, would you get married again?
You know, at this point, if it was over, I only need myself at this point. So the answer is no, I wouldn't do that. But I'm at the point now where her and I discuss, what about we bring the hoes in with us now so we can preserve our happiness?
Mike.
What?
And these discussions are being had because I feel like a lot of guys are running from their feelings. They know how they feel. Wait if she knows how you feel, so you guys just never gonna talk about it. It's like, if we want this thing to last, fuck it. Let's just figure this out because we know that we're not leaving each other.
If we want this thing to last, let's just Mike, DM Black China.
For Thanksgiving. Mike, I want you to invite me over for Thanksgiving.
Okay, what's going on
at Mike's house? You and your wife are eating pork chops and bringing in the hoes. I just want to watch, man.
Hey, man, people have been saying I'm happy for years. Why you think I'm this happy?
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Oh, wait, hold on. So what if she wants to bring in niggas?
Come on, man. Look,
why you gotta flip it like that, though?
I just want to know because I feel like it works both ways.
Women,
that is the truth.
Look, women don't rarely want to do that. They only bring that up to hurt your feelings. They don't have that. They have that strong emotional attachment to you.
So men really mean it. When I say I want 3 bitches over here, I really want 3 bitches.
No. We won't admit it because I have had the threesome conversation, and the automatic assumption is, well, you know, what kind of girl do you like? I'm like, I didn't say nothing about a girl.
A chick.
So what, she doesn't want to hurt me? She doesn't want to hurt me?
I'm just saying there's a chance that we make it sound like, of course I want a girl. And I'm like, no, I would like 3 or 4 dicks in the room. But I know that you guys don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I want to hear it if you do. I just want you to be honest.
Mike, I'm afraid of you and inspired at the same time. I don't know what's going on in your household.
I avoid that conversation just so we don't have the reverse.
Exactly.
Oh, because if you agree, if she agrees to be like, yeah, no, we can bring a chick in. As you get comfortable with bringing chicks in, now she can be like, well, what about this? And it's like,
And it's this nigga that's 6'8", 230. And
it's always a nigga that's been waiting. It's a patient nigga.
This nigga can tuck his dick in his sock. He's a real nice guy. No, bitch, no.
Alex, would you get married again?
Absolutely not.
Are you sure?
Absolutely not, because this is the end of the road. This is it.
Are we dying? What's wrong with you guys?
No. I just mean it's just that, you know what I mean? Like when I tell you I love her to death, and there's nothing else on this planet for me as far as relationships and everything. Like I love her, and that's just me. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm not.
It's hard to give your all to somebody and then be like, no, but I can give my all to somebody else. It's like, nah.
Especially when you know what it took to get to. When I tell you, I'm not even exaggerating. I'm pretty sure all these young brothers really know that. Man, this shit's a job. To be married, faithful, committed. But you know what? It's an amazing job that you love because you realize it's worth it. And anything that's worth anything is worth working hard for.
What's the hardest thing you've noticed about? That's the last question before we go. What's the hardest thing you've realized about being married, Alex?
I'm not even gonna lie. Not being selfish. You got to think about others. I'm admitting to this. That was a problem that I had, and my wife made me a better man for that. To realize it's not all about you. And then, being an entertainer, and it was all about me for so many years, doing what I did, my success and all this and that, she really made me see, not that I was like against it, she just really made me see that there's no I in team. It's us. We doing this together. Then boom, next thing you know, you got kids. It's really not just about you. I had to learn, I'm not gonna lie, I was horrible at listening. I was used to getting up and doing anything I want to do on my own time. I had to learn to respect it more. Ask as a man, you don't want to ask, but you got to respect. You know what I mean? And I would tell that to any dude that's, if he asked me, what would you say the most important thing is? Listening, communication, trying to listen more than you talk, and just respect each other's space and keep it moving like that.
And you had to work on all that.
I did. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you at all, man. That was one of the hardest things, to just be like, I'm so used to be like, I'm out, but not in a mean way.
No, you know, just doing your life, living life.
How about the hardest thing isn't punching yourself in the face like Ed Norton in Fight Club every time she rolls her eyes?
All right, so no, you next, Justin. What's the hardest thing you found about being married?
Not punching myself in the face every time she rolls her eyes.
What do you mean, not reacting when she gives you attitude in a negative way?
Oh yeah. You know, just sometimes getting your point across. You know, she's just like no. Yeah, and you just want to just like throw yourself through a window.
Okay.
Yeah. That's tough.
Oh, the word is pick your battles. I'm sorry. That's what I tried to tell you. I'm pretty sure they'll all agree. You got to pick your battles.
Mike, what's the hardest thing you've noticed about being married besides keeping the hoes away?
No, that's.
I mean, he gets hoes.
You don't know this, Monroe.
I'm just saying that he don't have to keep the hoes away.
Thanksgiving.
As long as he introduces them to his wife and there's an agreement.
Communication. The hardest part for me about marriage is recognizing that I'm the problem, and I have been. And that's very tough when you have to look yourself in the eye and be like, damn, like not texting back, taking my time to do certain things. I've been the fuck up for most of it. Now, and to really accept it and be accountable that I know this, and her to understand that I do feel this way, it's tough. It's tough.
That's amazing. Yeah. I'm so honored you told the truth like that.
Yeah, that's some introspective shit.
I know. Wasn't that deep as hell? Yeah. Like I never heard a man in my life say, I'm the problem.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not even worth making your point.
Yeah. I'm learning that now.
I found that out.
Wait, Monroe, what's the hardest thing you found about being married?
Since I'm new, I'm learning all these things and I'm hearing these guys struggle, and I'm like currently going through all that. Like, you're single, you're by yourself for so long, and you basically teach yourself how to. I taught myself how to survive. Right now, you got to unlearn all that shit and be considerate. When survival to me is a solo thing. You know what I mean? So I have to be considerate. I have to listen. I have to let go of ego. Like there's so much shit that I have to like let go. And we're only 2 years in, so I got a way to go. Yeah. Like right now, I'm in the office. She's in the room. 2 years, nigga.
Honeymoon stage, baby.
Y'all met. You mean y'all met 20 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I listen to what y'all are saying, and I'm all right, yeah, no, that's a good note. Like,
are you gonna say you're in the office now and she's what?
I'm like talking loud. And I know she can hear me, so I'm like, I know I gotta go in there and be like, yo, my bad, I was doing this. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like, yeah, man. Like I'm just learning how to include her and shit. Because one of the big problems is, like, I don't like. She gets mad at me for this, and I get it. Like I don't tell her shit all the time, and it can be big shit. Like, I'm like, oh, like my friends know shit. My friends are like, oh, how did that pitch go? And she's like, wait, what pitch? Why didn't you tell me that you had a pitch? And I'm like, fuck, I'm excluding her out of very important shit that's supposed to be we. But I'm so used to it being just me by myself that I don't really know how to share with her. So she's teaching me all that. She's teaching me how to share. She's teaching me how to be considerate and shit.
Yeah.
And take initiative.
He's like, you're teaching me how to open doors
and shit.
It's like, thank you and please up in this motherfucker.
You know? Not to be selfish and shit. You know that shit.
You know all that good shit.
Right.
All right, one gem each from each guy for the girls watching. One gem, real quick. Man, Mike first. One gem.
One gem for the ladies watching is, I don't know, just
like a rapper.
I don't know. I think just know what you want and know what you're going to settle for. I've said it already, and that's it. You know,
right.
I hope you find happiness. It's a great place.
It is. Monroe, one gem.
one gym, to me, I never looked at, like, I look at happiness as a thing you experience in life. Is not like the goal, because you can't be happy without being sad and depressed and all that shit. So I guess the gym is like, take all the emotions in and consider them and experience them, and don't hold on to it. Because I feel like when you hold on to happiness, then you're not allowing yourself to grow and go through other experiences.
Because every emotion is a gift in its own way.
Yeah, and I had to learn that. Like, comedy kind of taught me that, because like doing comedy, you're on this high. When you start getting shit, you're on this fucking high. You're like, it's gonna be like this forever, and then next week comes.
Right.
And then COVID erases your whole schedule.
Damn. Yeah,
Exactly.
and you just gotta find peace, and peace is accepting both.
Yeah. Justin, one gem.
To all the ladies that were listening to this, you're listening to four dudes that really don't know shit about women.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have absolutely no advice, nor would I even think of giving you advice. And I don't think anybody here who's listening to this, majority, is wanting to get wifed up. But I would say this: you're probably the shit. You are the shit
already.
And you know what? I think you got this, and just go with that. That's all I got.
Beautiful. Okay, Alex, the gem.
Love yourself, because if you don't love you, nobody else will.
Ooh. That's
Period.
It?
Yeah.
Oh,
Period. You gotta love yourself. You gotta, it's really that simple.
Yep. If you love you don't have to worry about who doesn't love you or who else loves you. Your love is enough.
One of the biggest compliments I still get, but I get from men all the time, is like, you seem like you cool with you.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was about to give you that compliment, Jackie.
Thank you.
After what I was said, you look like you love yourself.
And it
you
took
carry
years.
yourself like you love yourself. So guess what? Any man that's gonna come into your life, I feel like it's a vibe. It's almost like a person with low self-esteem. If you walk into it, it's like a comic, man. You can't get on stage and look and feel like you're not gonna be funny.
Yeah.
Because guess what?
Law
the crowd picks up on that. You've already lost.
Yeah.
Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
It's almost like they say dogs sense danger. Or dogs sense when you're afraid. It's the same thing. If you are what you put out there. That's what I mean when I say you gotta love yourself.
And you know what? In every way, like I tell the women out there, when you love yourself, everything is better, including the sex. Which is why you also got to know how to masturbate, because if you can't get yourself off, that's a lot of pressure on him.
That's another show. That's another show.
Another show.
Another hour.
On sex alone. All right, guys. Thank you so much. You guys are making me.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do married dudes the rest of the podcast life. I'm like, I don't want nobody that's not married. Thank you guys so much. You want to give your social media handle and website before we go, Mike?
Yeah, man. If you're in Detroit, come through in a couple weeks, but go to my website, bigassteeth.com.
What's happening in Detroit?
I'm headlining this club.
Yeah.
What's the name of the club? What's wrong with you?
Oh, yeah, the Comedy Castle and Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle.
I've been there. What are you, new? Give all the information.
You don't want to do it.
Bigassteeth.com, I have all the information.
Yeah.
I'm headlining this club. I've never heard that before from a comic. Monroe, what's your handle, website?
The handle is Monroe Martin III on Instagram and Twitter, and MonroeMartinComedy.com. I have a podcast called No Need for Apologies, whereas me and my best friend, and we just shoot shit and with other guests, and we have a good time.
Okay, and I'll put all the handles in the post so you can follow these guys. Justin, what's going on with you?
You can see me at Justin Wings Wade on Instagram, and then just look on TV. I just did a little something with Snoop Dogg. So.
Oh, a little something. Yeah. All right.
Something.
And Alex, what's going on with you?
Yes, Netflix right now. #1 new animated series on Netflix is called Motown Magic. If you have kids between 1 and 10 years old, or if you have grandkids or whatever, Smokey Robinson's executive producer. I'm on every episode. We're the only Black animated series on Netflix right now. It's called Motown Magic. My Instagram is @funnyman Alex Thomas, and my My podcast is every single Tuesday. Also, it's called The Funny Don't Stop Show. The Funny
I'm gonna check it
Don't
out, Alex.
Stop Show. Yes,
Alex-
check it out. Check it
Alex-
out.
Hell
It's
yeah.
good seeing you guys too, Justin,
Hell,
Mike,
man,
Yeah,
Monroe.
Alex.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
What were you gonna say, Jackie?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Alex, you're the most low key rich dude. You'll pull up in like a Lamborghini helicopter. You're very low key with it. I like
I'm
that.
just low key because I don't need niggas out here trying to rob me. You know, like if you surprise them and you pull up in the Lexus helicopter, they didn't know ahead of time.
All right, guys. Thank you, and I love you each
Thank you.
individually.
Love you
Thank
too.
you so much.
Thank you, Jackie.
Love you.
Thank you.
Great to
I
see
love
you,
you.
Chaz.
Guys, peace. Everybody be
Stay
safe.
married,
Right,
okay? Stay married, okay?
We are gonna stay married.